The following program is a Town of Colonie television production of the William K. Sanford Town Library.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Young at Heart. My name is Tom Scarff from the Albany County Department for Aging and Age-Friendly Albany County. And before we get started with the actual program, I want to make a couple of announcements. Number one, in the month of January, date is not out yet because we're taping this in November. In the month of January, we will be having a forum on senior scams, and that will be in Bethlehem at the Bethlehem Public Library. So stay tuned for more information on that. We are also going to be doing a survey of all residents in Albany County to find out what they are happy about and what they're not so happy about when it comes to aging services. That could be for anything from transportation to social inclusion to employment, anything that you want to talk about. We'd be more than happy to have you fill out a survey. The people will be going around sometime in late winter or early spring, and we look forward to your participation in that program. Also want to welcome our new commissioner, Deborah Grant. Deb is the former executive director of the Council of Churches, the Capital Area Council of Churches, and she comes to us with a wealth of knowledge in senior issues. She was the director of the NORC from the Jewish Family Services, and has just been doing a phenomenal job in everything that she's done up until this time. Now she's our new commissioner of the Department for Aging. Today we're going to talk about an issue that we don't often talk about. And when we talk about health issues, we talk about a lot of different things. It seems like the number one issue that we talk about is dementia or Alzheimer's disease. We might talk about being handicapped. We do talk a lot about blindness. But what we haven't spoken very much about is people who are hard of hearing or who are deaf. We do know that it's an increasing problem in people over the age of 55. And there's a lot of downsides to being deaf, obviously. But one of them, and we see it a lot on television, is not being able to hear the telephone or not being able to speak on the telephone. And that would include everything from your regular telephone to a cell phone to Skype or whatever. It's nice to be able to see somebody, but it's better if you can hear them when they're talking to you. Today my guest is Deb Grant, and Debbie is from Clear Captions, which is an organization that was created pretty much by mandate from the Federal Communications Commission, because you don't even know it, but a portion of your phone bill goes to fund telephones for people who are hard of hearing. Okay. Debbie, welcome to Young at Heart.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And we've been trying to do this for a while.
Yes, we have.
And I will say this, Debbie was a good sport because our guest, for whatever reason, couldn't make it today, so Debbie came on the last minute, and I certainly do appreciate it. You were scheduled for next month, but this is good. Tell us a little bit about Clear Captions and exactly how it got started.
Well, there's definitely a need. The need is out there. Over 77% of seniors, and it escalates after 70 years old, have hearing problems. One of the biggest forms of isolation and depression for seniors, and this is very serious, is a lack of communication. They can't hear. I mean, for example, even myself, I could hear my 3-year-old granddaughter in Napa when she was 3 on the phone because she talks slowly. Now at 5 years old, she's blah, 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 and I can't hear a thing.
Right.
And the last time I said something like that to her, she just didn't want to hear about it. Mm-hmm. She just said, Daddy, Nini wants to talk to you, when I asked her to slow down or speak up. So that's the problem. They'll be talking to their friends on numerous occasions, and people will ask them to slow down or speak up, and then they just get aggravated. Their grandchildren, their family members, they they just don't communicate as much anymore. And I've had seniors actually cry on my shoulder saying they don't go out to lunch or they don't have friends anymore because they can't communicate on the phone. So cutting that aside, let me tell you how this all came about and how this phone came about. It is, if not it's the best captioning phone in the United States today. It's not the one you see on TV on a regular basis. Okay, this is a very high-powered $500 phone. But it is absolutely free, and that is my biggest problem, Tom, convincing people that the phone doesn't cost anything. In 1990, the government came out with Title IV of the Americans with Disabilities Act. That act said, Title IV said that all large telecommunication companies like AT&T, Bell, any of those, had to put a portion of their funds in what's called a telecommunications relay fund. That fund was set up so that when us baby boomers got up here, we'd have these phones available to us so that we could hear, we could communicate. What the big guys did, which is not unusual, is they then passed it on to the average citizen who has a telephone. So on everyone's phone bill since 1990, yours, mine, everybody here, there's a little universal service fee, and that runs between 30 cents to about $1.10.
It's one of those things you don't even notice.
You don't notice it. I'm not one of those that pick apart my phone bill, but a couple times I saw miscellaneous things that annoyed me, but that has been there since 1990. That's also what has paid for these phones. So what the FCC did, the Federal Communications Commission, has all this money sitting there. Did you know about it?
Absolutely not.
I didn't know about it. Almost 100% of the seniors that I deal with and present to on a monthly basis don't know about it.
I look at the bill and I see all these things, and it's just too confusing for me to even want to know what they are.
Yeah.
I figured they're there, I have to pay it, so what the heck?
What is a miscellaneous
This actually
fund?
is a good thing that it's going to, though.
Yes, it's a very good thing. So because they have all these funds sitting there, they hired a company like ours, Clear Captions. We are based in Sacramento, California, and we are nationwide. We have just been voted for the second year in a row the fastest growing company in Sacramento, California, because we're growing so quickly. So what Clear Captions has done is hire people like myself, territory managers, business management development people, to get out there to do numerous presentations. I average about 13 to 15 presentations a month to seniors, senior residence housing, senior community centers, something like Teresian House or Avila, and I go do a lunch and learn or presentation to introduce the people to the phone.
Or burn.
Yeah, or Burn. Burn has been, there's a lot of people up there that I've helped, many. I think now it's about 27 in that area, Altamont and Burn. So I go to the senior centers and present the phone and have a good time with them, and sometimes I bring raffle prizes because the FCC pays me to do this. So here's a $500 phone, and it's totally paid for. That is the biggest, hardest part of my job, is to convince people that there is no fee for this phone.
Because of scams, and that's what people think. There has to be
Scared to death.
There has to be a reason why it can't be free, is what they're talking about. Now, so after you install it, do you take it back at any point?
Never, unless the person, well, let me explain how to get it. There's
Go
3
ahead.
qualifications. Someone's calling for it now, I think. There's 3 qualifications to get the phone. It is any form of hearing loss is number 1. Title IV does not stipulate how much hearing loss you have to have. So you don't have to have a doctor's receipt or an audiologist receipt. Okay, it's just, you say I can't hear on the phone, that is good enough for Title IV. Okay? Secondly, you need a landline in your house or apartment or home or wherever you are, or room. That might be at a Teresian House or something.
Which most seniors have.
Most seniors have. Okay, so the third thing is Wi-Fi or internet. Okay, and most seniors, you wouldn't think have it, but it's pocketed almost. In certain areas, seniors do have it because that's the way they keep up with their family on Facebook or whatever, social media. So, for example, up in Bern, that whole area, it seems like everyone has internet, maybe 90%. And then I can go out to Hoosick Falls, and probably 90% don't have internet. So you do have to have internet. Why? Because we caption over the internet, and it makes it very quick. So when you're talking on the phone, Tom, it's on demo right now, but when you're talking on the phone, you can look down, and within 3 seconds, it's coming up with the person saying. You're not waiting. If you don't hear it, you can look down and see what the person is saying. Now, what's nice about this phone is it's not just for the captioning for that. I mean, I don't think I go to any event that people, well, how about you? How many times have you had a doctor's office call you and say, Mr. Scarff, you have an appointment on July 22nd at 3 o'clock. If you can't make it, please call back 798. And you go, what was that?
Right.
What was that number? Well, seniors, it's even harder for them. And not just seniors, people who have hearing difficulties. So that's why we have an answer machine on the phone. The answer machine captions everything that's being said on the message. So when you get it, it reads it back to you. You can go back and go up and down and read it, or save it, and you'll see that number. And it also has a phone book that holds up to 100 different names and numbers. So I actually do the installation for the people. I install their phone numbers for their family. So all they have to do is push the phone book, push the speaker, and it calls the person. And it's all set to their tone and their volume.
And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be on speaker, right?
No. But I think you'll find that most people that have hearing aids,
Right.
you put a device up to your ear and the vibration makes it worse in most cases. So when you can put the speaker on, you could be sitting there, Tom, or across the room, and you could talk as plain as day and hear them. And this goes up to 50 decibels with 5 different tones. So anyone who has hearing loss can tell you it's not how loud someone is when you walk in a room, it's the person that has your tone that you can hear.
Okay.
So when I get the right tone, I don't have to have it as loud for them.
Well, this is a great addition to anyone's life. I mean, it makes life easier. And it's something that you're talking about. I talk a lot about social isolationism among seniors.
And it's serious.
33% of senior citizens, 33% of suicides are senior citizens. And the thought is that most of it is because of loneliness. Some of it is because of disease, but most of it is because of loneliness. And that's just the reported suicides.
So much higher.
You know, sometimes you think, well, they mistakenly took more pills than they should have. Might not have been a mistake. And a lot of it is because they're lonely. And that's a big issue now in the senior community, is social isolation and how to combat it. This is certainly one way to do it, is to combat it through being able to hear what people are saying.
I've had people actually break down. I mean, I went over to holiday retirement, and I call him my boyfriend. I won't give you his last name because of privacy, but first name's Russ. I've been back there 3 times to kind of help him with the phone. He's 93, and the first time I was there and installed it, he called and talked to his grandson that he hadn't spoken with in over 6 months.
Wow.
And
Beautiful.
He loves, this is his favorite family member, and they were on the phone. He didn't even know that I left. He just paid no attention. He was so happy. And it's just really because his family is in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
How does he communicate with them?
Right.
If he can't hear on the phone? And this man was a top engineer, electrical engineer, but he'd lost his hearing. And I put in phones for people from 25 years old to 106. Actually, I just lost my lady that was 106 from Slingerland's. She was sharp as a tack. She lost her hearing during the bombing in London during the war.
So this has all of the bells and whistles as far as 911 and everything else is concerned. You just, dial a 911 and you're connected. You see what you're doing. You can bring up old conversations. Is that what you said?
Oh, yes. And not only the 911. When I register the phone to them, each phone is registered to an individual. They have to have your your license. They have to know that you're an American citizen because that means you've paid for the phone. So when I register the phone to you as an individual, it stays that way. No one else can take the phone. No one else can use it. But when I do it, I put in your address, and it has to coincide with 911 because when you dial 911 on this phone, it's GPS right to the phone. So they'll come right to that spot. So that's another added advantage to the phone.
Now, what about if somebody has their phone through Spectrum? Can they still, if that's what their landline is?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I can do Magic Jack. I plug into Magic Jack, Spectrum, Frontier, Verizon, you name it. It's almost any internet. It doesn't have to be high speed, just internet. And phone line, I usually go in, and I think you'll find most seniors don't like change. The older they get, the less change. So a lot of my customers, let's say, are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, a lot in their 90s, which gives me hope that I'm going to live a little longer.
Isn't that great when you see that?
Than I thought, many of them. And so when I go in and install the phone, I keep their other phones plugged in. They can't really hear on them, but it's a security, so I use a splitter. I plug in ours just like an extension. It doesn't increase their phone bill at all. It doesn't increase their internet at all. And they're not forced to use this phone, but after they use it a couple times, they don't want to use the other phones anymore. But that's just a psychological thing, like with a lot of people that don't like change.
So friends, what we're doing is, we target senior citizens, obviously, on Young at Heart, but this is for anybody who has a hearing problem, can take advantage of this phone. And when it's in the family, anybody can use the phone.
Okay. The FCC is pretty strict about that.
They are.
So when you have a phone in the house, what we do, for example, this couple I'm going into today in Bennington, I will register the husband as the main user. Then I put the wife into the computer. She accepts the same conditions, that she's not going to get the phone, sell it out on the street corner, get rid of her or anything, and she can use the phone. It's the captioning they're concerned with. It costs money to caption as quickly as we do and as accurately. So they like to know who is using the phone. They're fussy, the FCC, about who they give $500 phones to. Not in a way that whether or not they deserve them, but in the way that they want to know who they are, if they're a citizen and they've paid for the phone.
Right. Well, that makes sense because, it's... If you've had a phone most of your life, then you've been paying for this since the 90s. And
it's your civil right to own this phone.
It's your right to own this phone. And why don't more people know about it? Because the phone you see on TV is not a free phone, is it?
No. I believe they charge for the phone, and you have to have a certification from an audiologist or a doctor, PCF, to get it, I think, in most cases. I don't run into that phone very often. I replace certain phones. There's a couple that are out there. One has been out there for a very long time. It's a little more cumbersome than ours, but it certainly served the purpose for a long time. Can I say that we have the best phone out there? Not because I'm the one who's getting it out there. I get paid by the FCC. The people pay me nothing. I'm not selling when I'm out there. But I know that we take the place of other phones many times, and it's easier. It's user-friendly. Seniors and anyone likes something that's user-friendly. It's as simple as that.
Now, do you get referrals a lot of times from caregivers?
Oh, yes.
From the children,
Albany County.
grandchildren?
Albany County really took it upon themselves to endorse our phone. Started with Commissioner Brown. He was just fascinated with it. And we've gone to different CNAs and youth groups, the youth, well, actually, it's Youth and Family Services.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Children,
yes.
Youth and Family, yeah.
They bring our phone out many times. I mean, I install these phones for children. Anybody from 16 on up to 106. Hearing doesn't discriminate, unfortunately. And the newest thing now is people in their 30s are developing a serious amount of hearing disabilities. And my youngest son, who's 29, happens to be one. When he was going to college for 4 years, he had that boom box in the back of his car. I told him, John, don't do it, don't do it. He has hearing problems now. He needs one of these phones.
And he can get one of those
He
phones.
can get one. All he has to do is say, Mom, I have hearing disabilities. I'm finding it hard when I'm talking to a customer because he's also an artist. And they're trying to describe what they want when they, and he uses the phone for that.
How many phones do you think you've placed?
Oh my goodness, Tom. I put an average of 30 to 50 phones in a month.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
really?
I am running ragged. I do about 14 presentations, 12 to 14, and I install phones. My territory right now is from, well, actually Bennington. It was the Vermont border, but I have so many people that are referring me to Bennington.
Right.
Syracuse, up to the Canadian border,
Oh my God.
and down to Catskill.
Are you in the Potsdam area? Because we both have a relationship with Potsdam. Mm-hmm. Are you up in that area too?
Yes.
St. Lawrence County and Essex County
Absolutely.
and all that stuff? Well, I mean, how are you doing it by yourself?
Well, what I do is I choose an area, like for example, Altamont and Bern, and I go up there and I do the centers, do the dinners. When they have a large dinner, I come in and I bring cookies and we have fun, but then we talk about the serious part of the phone. I offered the phone to everyone around there and kind of focus in that area for a while with referrals and then go to Altamont and then move to another, like Utica. Utica and Johnstown have been running me ragged. There's that whole area. It's just, and they have internet. And,
Right.
There's a lot of seniors that live in St. Johnsville and Gloversville and that whole area in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't really focused up north yet, farther than Lake George and Glens Falls. But
Now, are they continually upgrading the phones? Will they, like, are there models like they have in, some of the cell phones? You buy a cell phone today and tomorrow the new cell phone comes out.
Clear Captions spends a lot of time in R&D. We have a new phone that was supposed to come out last year, but there were a few little problems with it, with the beta testing. It's called Blue, and you don't need to have a home phone line. You'll be able to use our phone line, so you can get rid of that cost. And Blue has a little bit different configuration to it. It actually has buttons that make some people more comfortable than the flat screen, and has a very good speaker on it. It's an excellent phone, a little more user-friendly even. And that will be out in January. And then we have another application for iPhones.
Okay.
Now, I have an iPhone. I get
gonna ask you
texting
about
on it.
that. Mm-hmm.
I get texting on it. But if you have an iPhone and you see the texting is missing about people's names, different spaces, ours will be an actual captioning application, and they will both be no charge
Wow.
by the FCC.
Now, does the FCC does not own Clear Captions?
No.
Okay, it's a privately owned company that gets its money from the FCC. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Every time we install a phone, the FCC pays us. They pay us a certain amount because it costs us money to get out there, mileage and,
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, it costs us a lot of money to get out there. So I am not in any way, shape, or form allowed to even take one dime
Right.
for a phone.
How long are your presentations?
Oh, probably I go for an hour because I like to hand out raffle tickets when I get in there, and it takes me about 15 minutes to do a presentation, but it depends upon the question and answering. I have a lot of questions because people don't believe there's no charge. They'll ask me, well, how much do you pay monthly? You don't pay anything monthly. How much do you pay for your phone bill? Nothing. It's just like plugging in an extension.
How difficult is the sign up?
I stand right there, have my computer, I put your name, your address, your phone number in, and set a time and a date to come. You set aside an hour. I tell you to get some names so I can put them in the phone book for you. And it takes me about an hour to install a phone.
But it's not like a lot of our programs in government where we ask for everything but, the kitchen sink.
So no red tape. When I get there, after I fill out the phone, we have what's called an MRF, medical release form. Mm-hmm. Okay, what we do is we have the customer fill it out and sign it. It gives us either their audiologist or their family physician that they go to. And what we do, I send that to the concierge. I zap it out to California,
right.
And all they do is send it to that doctor or the VA. VA has a special form, but it's only a matter of them signing their name on each one. And tell them we gave them the phone. It's as simple as that. So they have it in their records, and the FCC likes us to do that.
Now,
That's required.
I just want to ask this question, and it's not about the phone necessarily, but do you do presentations to doctors?
Oh yes, St. Peter's. St. Peter's has our phones in the radiologist department. We have audiologists nationwide. I mean, I have a great audiologist down in Green Island who recommends our phone continuously. So it's a matter of my finding time to get to them.
Right.
You know, I really do have to take a month just to get to them and show them the phone. But I was kind of waiting for Blue to come out now, because Blue will just top anything that's ever been out there.
And it's not like you're going to sell these cheaper because Blue's coming out, because there's no cost.
Oh, no. As a matter of fact, my customers who have these phones, I will call first and offer them to exchange out for Blue.
Oh, you will? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Free.
So you've been doing this now for how long?
Almost 2 years.
And do you have a goal that you want every month, or is it just whoever needs one?
Well, my goal is to really get to as many people as possible that need the phone. That's our whole goal as a company. Words matter. You know, these people are out there. The phone is out there free. Get out there, tell them it's there, and get it to them. That's my goal. Do I want to? I think right now, doing between 40 and 50 phones a month is running me ragged, but soon I will be moving up, getting a promotion, where I'll have 2 people working underneath me that can actually go do the installations on the phones, and I'll just do the presentations, because there's getting to be so many people.
But with your personality, I bet you like the interaction with the customers too.
I love it. I love it. As you know, I was in business for 20-some years and retired at 50. It was too early. You know, you can only do so much golf and fishing, whatever. And
I didn't think you were 50 yet.
Now you know why I love you so much.
How's that?
When we came back up here to be near my grandchildren, I was bored stiff. You know, all our friends in Florida, we were doing the usual retirement thing, and I was doing some consulting, and I got a call from Clear Captions and said, "We've seen your resume on LinkedIn. We'd like you to come to work for us as a territory manager to give away $500 phones to people who need them." And I said, "Okay, I think you have the wrong person, so thank you very much." And I was going to hang up. I thought it was a scam.
You were skeptical.
Yes,
just like
I was
everybody else.
very skeptical.
So you understand.
And they brought me out to Sacramento to their headquarters, which is beautiful, and trained me for 2 weeks, and now I'm a Title IV agent. And I meet the most fascinating people, from artists, retired artists that if I mention their names, you know them. I mean, they're in nursing homes, or they're in residential senior facilities that are very high end or low end. I meet all of them from all spectrums, and I have a good time with them. I do. In their house, I'm getting gifts. They're always trying to give me pies, and one man gave me a piece of artwork that, you know, he's an artist, and you just become their friends. They call me all the time. So on the weekends too.
Well, it's a great opportunity for people who have a challenge to, you know, overcome that challenge, at least as far as telephones are concerned. You know, hopefully it would be nice if the government could do something with hearing aids. Hearing aids are so expensive, you know, and it's not easy to get a good one paid for with Medicaid or Medicare, you know, so it'd be great if our government people would get the ball rolling so that we can eliminate maybe that one handicap to a person having a good, fulfilling life.
The VA's doing a good job with it, but other than that, I mean, I have this poor woman in Troy who paid $5,000 for her hearing aids, saved and saved and saved, had it in a Kleenex, forgot 2 days after she got it, threw it down the chute at Kennedy Towers, and never got it back again. But hearing aids don't always work with a phone. They work when you have a speaker. I can get most people to hear this phone without their hearing aids on a speaker, but when you put that vibration up to a hearing aid,
right,
that's vibration to vibration. And it depends upon the hearing aid, but it doesn't always work.
Well, what number can people call?
They can call me at 518 378 6637.
Okay.
Or they can go online to Clear Captions, and they will refer them right out to me if it's in my territory. I mean, you can't imagine how many phones we put in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, just at the Villages alone, we have 2 people there. So
that's huge.
yeah, It's
beautiful and
very
it's
large.
huge.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Well, we're going to make sure that we get the word out, and we have some an in with some of the local senior newsletters that go out, Colonie, Bethlehem,
That would be
Guilderland.
great, Tom.
And we'll just put a little commercial in for you. And this is something that is a great opportunity for people, as I said before, to overcome a challenge that they've had in their lives, to help with the ending of social isolationism, to get them communicating with other people. And that's our goal. Our goal right now, my goal as director of the Age-Friendly program, is first and foremost to end social isolationism, because it is a very, very serious problem. And there's a lot of ways we can do it. Certainly the phone is one way, quick and easy. $500 phone for free. I know, Debbie, it's not a scam. And one of the other ways is employing older people, because what better way to get people to mingle with other people than to have them work, even if it's 10 hours a week. Have them work in an office or in a store. Great workers, great work ethic. Until next time, on Young at Heart, I'm Tom Scarff from the Albany County Department for Aging. My thanks to Colonie Library, to Greg, our producer, director, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you, Tom.